or I don't know how it sounds or how it looks, but I am at the Las Vegas airport getting ready to fly back home to Texas tonight. I have a nice little layover here in Vegas, like 5 hours. Wanted to talk some ball with you guys. Tomorrow's coffee and convo, I'll definitely break this game down to a T. We'll have a real extensive conversation tomorrow about how I felt about this game and about how I think this team should move forward. After the bye week. But man, I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit, see what's going on. Salute to everybody here in the building. Make sure you guys wipe them feet. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. As always, let me know if you guys can hear me as well. I'm live from the Vegas airport, so I don't know how great I'm sounding or how I'm looking. Let me know, man. Give me a thumbs up in the conversation in the chat, man, if you guys can hear me and everything is good. Okay, Bob says, yes, I can hear you. Okay, salute. Mondo with that content. Salute to my guy, man. It's all love, man. Brother, this keeps just breaking my effing heart. Hey, man, look, dude, we love this team, right? But we also have a very, very nasty relationship with this team. It's a love-hate relationship. The expectations in the offseason are always high. And then after maybe week 2, week 3, the expectations just go crashing down, right? And this is who this team is right now, man. It just is what it is. This is exactly who this team is right now. From the coaching staff to the offensive side of the football, the defensive side of the football, this is exactly the football team that we're going to have throughout the rest of this season. We're 2-5 right now. We're entering the bye week right now, struggling mightily. Once again, I said it on the show earlier, just a quick 20-minute video, I believe, that I did. But things are not going to get better, you guys. So just prepare for the worst moving forward. We have a tough stretch of football coming up. Jacksonville lost big, I believe, in London today or wherever they played against the Rams. They got cooked. Matthew Stafford, 5 touchdowns. Devontae, 3 without Puka. Jacksonville's been struggling, but they're still a better football team than us, defensively and offensively. And, they have a young head coach that has ties to Spy Tech. And there were rumors and rumblings about Liam Cohen turning down an interview in Las Vegas with Tom Brady and Spy Tech. So there's some potential bad blood there. But Allegiant Stadium, back at home, I think we're going to lose this game. You got Denver after that. They got so lucky today. Denver cannot continue to win these kind of games. I'm telling you now, man, they almost lost to the Giants. They almost lost to the Jets back-to-back weeks. Their offense is struggling mightily. I know they put up a 30-piece in the fourth quarter to come back and win, but that's not sustainable. But they have a great defense. There's nothing that has shown me that Denver should lose to us, and they're 5-2 right now on top of our division. So then we got Dallas, that high-powered offense. We got Cleveland with that great defense, and they just blew out the Dolphins today. So there's some tough stretch of football in front of us, and this is not going to get any better. I'm hoping and praying, like I said on the show earlier, and like I said on all these other shows in the last few weeks, that the Raiders finally just embrace, face reality. And that's what the show is called tomorrow, Coffee and Convo. Just face the reality. Face the reality of things. It's not a good football team. We're not ready to, we're not ready to compete with the best teams, let alone the middle of the pack teams, let alone some of these terrible bottom franchises in football right now. We're just not a good football team. The good thing is, you guys, we got an update on Max. It sounds like he is good. I believe Ian Rappaport put something out there with the knee injury that he's good to go. He was definitely out for the rest of the game after he took that nasty hit. I believe it was Noah Gray. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was Noah Gray, their tight end, that hit him, in the knee. So he was out with a back and knee injury. He was doubtful to return, but it looks like he is good to go moving forward, especially after the bye week. But there's nothing that Mass can do for this football team moving forward, man. There's nothing that Mass can do. There's nothing that Brock Bowers can do coming back after the bye week. There's nothing that anybody can do for this franchise right now this year with the personnel that we have, from the coaching staff to the athletes that we have on this roster. It's just not a good football team from top to bottom. So, I'm just embracing the fact that, once again, it's not a good team. And, I think we can all sleep at night a little more, you guys, understanding that this just isn't a good football team. It's okay. I remember some of those bad Raiders teams. You know, there was a lot of them, me growing up, where we just wanted to compete. We weren't even looking to win ball games. We just wanted to compete and just show that we belonged in the NFL. You know what I mean? Because we had some rough teams in the past. And this isn't any different. This is one of the worst football teams that we've had in a long time. Potentially even worse than the football team that we had last year with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell at the quarterback position. So nasty, nasty work. Cheers to the nation, man. I broke my fast today because guess what? Well, no, I didn't break my fast today. I broke it Friday because guess what? I was preparing for the inevitable, the Raiders getting killed by the Kansas City Chiefs. John, salute to my guy John Bailey. I'm in Vegas tonight until my flight leaves at 1 o'clock in the morning, bro. So I'll be around. I'm at the airport just kicking it. Hug says 95 total yards, 6 touches for Genty all game. How do you win ball games like that? Honestly, how do you win ball games like that when you have your best offensive player with Brock Bowers out only touches the football 6 times on the ground? It's nasty work. And I believe he only had 1 catch in the passing game as well. You can't win ball games like that. Under 100 all-purpose yards, this Kansas City Chiefs defense had their way with this offense, and then their offense had their way with this defense. It's nasty, nasty work. But I want to say this. There's a few fireable offenses today, okay? There's a few fireable offenses, all right? Starting to try and run the football down 14-0 is unacceptable. Fireable offense from Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly. Benching JPJ, and yes, JPJ had a rough game today. Chris Jones and those guys owned JPJ and Jordan Meredith. They benched him and put in Alex Kappa. You benched JPJ before you benched Geno Smith. Pete, let us know that you have some type of gripe with JPJ without letting us know that you have a gripe with JPJ. What is the issue here? You benched him after having a rough game. Geno has had a rough 6 games, 7 games. And JPJ gets benched for Alex Kappa. And honestly, Geno didn't even get benched. They just took him out at the end of the game and put Kenny Pickett in because the game was just pretty much over at that point. So they didn't even want Geno to get hurt. They sat Geno. They didn't bench Geno. Geno got took out of that game because there was no shot of us winning that football game. They took JPJ out because he was struggling to play today. He was struggling. He got beat up on that O-line. It happens. It happens. But once again, you sit JPJ for Alex Kappa, but you wait until the end of the game to take Geno Smith out to put Kenny Pickett in. And once again, Kenny Pickett did fumble on his first snap. Nasty work. Jerry Tillery, former Raider, the irony in that, recovers the fumble and Casey gets the ball there, right? But, I mean, either way, man, I just don't know the plan with Pete Carroll. I have no idea what Pete Carroll is thinking. I don't know the thought process behind what he's trying to do in order to put this football team together. I'm confused. One day we got Zeus returning kicks. The next we got, we got Mostert. Then we got Dillon, and then Dillon's not out there. And then we got Bachman, and then Bachman's gone. There's so many just weird things going on with this football team. I truly don't know what the hell is going on. Polamalu needs to, if you're going to keep him around, which I think you should move him this offseason. I believe you can save like $3 million letting him go. If you're going to keep him around, move him back to strong safety. Move him to strong safety. He is not a free safety. He is struggling this year with his angles, with his tackling, just everything. He is not a free safety. If you want to keep Polamalu around, put him back as strong the way Patrick Graham used him last year. Get him close to the line of scrimmage and send him in as a missile, like a pass rusher to get after the quarterback. That's what they did with him last year. And that's why he was more successful than he was last year than he is this year. Move him to strong, play him up near the line of scrimmage, and have him get after quarterbacks. He looked really good like that last season. There was a reason why we brought him back and we extended him. He is out of position. A lot of these guys are out of position, and it makes no sense. And then you continue to play Kyu Blu Kelly after he is just getting picked on. If JPJ is benched, why do you keep Kyu Blu Kelly in the majority of the game? At the end of the game, they put in Porter. He finally started getting some reps. What is the issue with Porter? You guys drafted him in the 3rd round. Okay, yes, he may be a developmental talent. You're not winning ball games right now. This This kid needs to learn baptism by fire. Throw him out there into the fire and let him go out there and learn and adapt to the NFL speed and let him get accustomed to the NFL game. I just don't know why they continue to have Darian Porter off the football field. It makes absolutely no sense to me why you keep throwing Kyu Blu out there to the Wolves and he looks like dog shit week in and week out. Like, make that shit make sense. Wipe them feet, y'all. We got over 300 people in the room. We only got 50 likes. Get those likes up. Also, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. Ravine says, where do you put Chin then? Hey, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. You can use him. Shit, put him in that big nickel spot. I don't know what you do with Chin. Chin is struggling too. I mean, but who's not struggling on this football team right now? Honestly, who's not struggling? Everybody's struggling. Everybody. There's not one player on this roster. Think about this right now, you guys. There's not one player on this roster who's not struggling. Not struggling. Trey Tucker had a drop. Genty could, they didn't even give him the football. So I'm going to put that in the category of struggling right now. The offense is struggling, so Genty's going to struggle. Who's not struggling right now? Who is not struggling right now? Max has had an up and down season. Sometimes he has these big games and then kind of disappears a little bit because, offenses can game plan against him because essentially we don't have a lot on the defensive side of the football. You can put 2 or 3 guys on him and take Max out the game, and now you're hoping that Kuntz and Tyree and these other guys can get to the quarterback. You know what, AJ Cole? You know what? You're right. You're right. Our punter. Which that is actually kind of crazy, right? Kind of crazy. That's nasty. But yeah, faster than you. Kuntz, a no-show. Tyree, just, he's shown some signs of life, but I don't believe that he's getting enough reps in order to really go out there and try and show that he can be a consistent football player at the NFL level after being drafted very early in the top 10 a few years ago. So, Rosetown says, any game balls? Hell no. Not one. Not one. None. Not one. I have a whole bunch of what the fucks. And it starts up top with Pete Carroll. That we can get to Chip Kelly, that we can get to Patrick Graham, and then we can go ahead to Brennan Carroll, and we can keep it moving. But there's not one game ball at all. This entire team sucked today. Everybody stunk. 93 yards is that what we had today? Total yards, 93 yards offensively. Is that what it was, you guys? I've been traveling, I've been moving around, so I didn't get a chance to actually look at the stat sheet, the box score. What was it, like 93 yards, 95 yards total? That's crazy. That is crazy. 67 yards passing. Crazy. Frank says Jonah was out there balling. Man, you know what, man? I like Jonah. I like Jonah. I really do. But he should have came down with that pick, Skinner. He should have came down with that pick. That could have been not a game changer, but a little momentum shift there if he would have come down with that pick. There was a few opportunities today for that defense to go out there and make some plays, and they could not come down with some turnovers. Just Raiders Baby says 95 total yards, 70 yards receiving, 25 rushing. That's insanity, bro. That's insanity, man. You cannot win ball games like that. That's crazy. Dak says Raiders 30 plays, KC 30 first downs. Wild. And did you see the time of possession? Did you see the time of possession? Nasty, nasty work. I think I forgot what it was. Oh my God. Just nasty work. Nasty work. Time of possession was disgusting. Let me see. There was one I wanted to read right here. Salute to everybody here in the building, as always. Raider Tio says, do we tank now? We're already tanking without having to tank. This is a terrible football team. 58 yards of penalties. That's just bad. You're not going to win ball games like that. You're just not. It's nasty work. But you don't need to tank when you're a terrible football team. It's just like the team last year, 4-13. We didn't need to tank last year. We just absolutely sucked. We weren't going to win a bunch of games. And we won a bunch of useless games at the end of the season against the Jaguars and the Saints to essentially take us out of the top 5 to potentially get a Cam Ward or one of those guys. So, but this is a bad football team. There's no reason to tank when you have Geno Smith at the quarterback position. The O-line looks like dog shit, and the defense is just a no-show one week and then great the next week and then a shit show the next week. Very inconsistent on the defensive side of the ball. So, And you're not going to win games, with just Max being the only pass rusher that's out there making a difference on the D line. You're not going to win with those linebackers that can't cover tight ends. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to win when you have Caillou Blue out there on the boundary starting opposite of Eric Stokes. You're not going to win when you have Palamau out there essentially playing out of position. You're just not. There's so many different reasons why this football team is struggling. It just makes no sense. Salute to my guy, Hug, man. You love the name and the pick. Laugh out loud. You can only laugh away the pain because there's no other outlet. The nation deserves better fundamentals. This is facts, my brother. Facts. Salute to my brother Hug D's. And I'll definitely read your guys' supers. And I'm going to apologize to everybody who sent the supers earlier and I didn't read them. I was on my phone on StreamYard and they weren't showing up. So my apologies to anybody who I didn't read the supers. I'm using just YouTube Live right now, so I can't put them up on the screen, but I will definitely read them. Let me see. He said they just need to move back to Oakland for what? I mean, look, I love my Oakland Raiders, but I mean, what for what? What's that going to do? We were struggling out there too. Rosetown says, Graf, who is your top quarterback coming out next year? Well, I don't know if Sellers is going to come out, and he's been struggling a little bit this year with South Carolina. I really like that Mendoza kid out of Indiana. Like, real talk, I like him a lot. I do like him a lot. I like the kid in Alabama as well. Who else? I don't know if is the kid in Oregon coming out? I do like Jaden at USC. I got a chance to watch them closely last night as my Notre Dame Fighting Irish beat their ass. Salute to all you USC fans. The Fighting Irish did exactly what they were supposed to do, which was go out there and beat the shit out of USC at home. So salute to all my USC guys in the chat. But Dante Moore, Oregon. The kid at Alabama's nice. Mendoza's nice. Alar, I don't know where he's going to go now because he's out for the season. The whole Penn State situation, I don't know. But there's some really good young talent at the quarterback position in next year's draft. Indiana, I'm in Vegas right now. I'm in Las Vegas. I have a long layover. I was supposed to actually go meet up with my brother, L Fingers, right now and go hang out with him and barbecue at the house for like 4 or 5 hours. But I'm probably just going to stay over here and charge my laptop up, charge my phone up, and just kick it. I may even lay down and crash for a couple hours here at the gate. So Alar is like Josh Allen light, and I'm here for it. Insight, measurable-wise, right? He has the arm strength. He just needs the right guy to be able to develop him. You know what I mean? He needs a really good OC or a really good offensive-minded head coach that can really teach him, how it's done at the NFL level. I like Drew Alar. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I definitely like him. Jorge says Carson Beck is back to life for a picture. Yeah, I've never been a big Carson Beck fan. I never have. I don't believe that he's really bought into football. I truly don't believe that he loves the game. I want my quarterback to fall in love with football. I need him to be in love with the game. And I don't think that Carson Beck is anywhere near in love with football. I don't even know if he's in like with football. I think he just might be using this shit just as a tool to get a couple dollars and get a couple females. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about Carson Beck, honestly. Salute to my guy A.R. Bolin, man. Nasty work in these streets. I think you nailed, but a completely rebuild like 2014. Yeah, man. Once again, this is what we need to do. We need a clean slate. We need a clean slate. That's exactly what we need here. We need a clean slate. Clean slate. Top to bottom. Young head coach. Young quarterback. Build the trenches up on both sides of the ball. It starts there. Young quarterback, young coach, build those trenches up. Offensive line, defensive line. And honestly, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, and because you guys know I love Max Crosby. I love him, and I know that there's a lot of dead cap if you try to move him, which I don't think the Raiders will move, and I don't think that Max wants to leave. I think he's here for the long haul, but this would be the one time where you have to at least just potentially see what's out there. And I love Max. I love Max Crosby. To me, that's like the one of the three untouchables on this roster. But if you have to think about potentially going to get, a cornerstone tackle or, you need a cornerstone quarterback, you may have to make a move and pick up some draft capital and be able to do. Max is so good. He's so great at what he does. He is the one talent that you have on this roster that could potentially field you enough draft picks to try and get this thing together quicker than later. You know what I mean? So, and once again, I don't want Max to leave, you guys. I would love to see Max win with the Raiders. This organization means a lot to him. This fan base means a lot to him. This is not me here saying that I want to move Max, but this would probably be the perfect time for this organization. You know, Pete is only here he's not here for a long time. You know, he's not here for a long time. And, you know, Spytek and company, they may want to make a splash here and try to figure out a way to figure this thing out, you know, sooner than later. And if you move Max, you can pick up a bunch of extra draft capital and try and build this thing up. Once again, I don't know if Spytek and company are the right minds to do it. I believe in Spytek. I know that everybody doesn't. I know this was a rough offseason. There wasn't a lot of talent in free agency. We had a ton of money. But, you know, he didn't go out there and overspend on talent that really wasn't worth it. The draft is very questionable up to this point, right? Because Besh hasn't got a ton of reps. They're starting to put him out there more. But, you know, Kayla Rogers, inactive. You know, Charles Grant, inactive. You know, Cam Miller, practice squad. Lindenberg not getting a lot of burn. You know, you're looking at Darian Porter, who is essentially a special teams player at this point. He's only coming in games at the end of the game when we're already out of it. So, there's just a lot of question marks. I feel bad for my boy Dante, too, man. I have to say this because Dante had a couple catches today, and he was starting to find his groove. But every time he caught the football, it was a boneheaded penalty that brought it back. An offsides, a hold. I feel bad for my dog Dante because I speak to him frequently, you guys, and Dante Thornton really wants to be good. He really wants to be great. He really wants more opportunities to show that this team didn't make a bad decision taking him in the 4th round out of Tennessee. You know, I've been hitting him every day saying this is gonna be the week you get your first touchdown. This is gonna be the first week you get your first touchdown, and then today he gets a couple reps, and boom, called back. How can you find any kind of, you know, any type of consistency on the football field when you're going out there and you're laying it all on the line, and your offensive line or whoever it is, you know, are getting called for boneheaded penalties after you make a play? It sucks to see that consistently, man. It's nasty. Let me get rid of this weird ass dude right here. Some weird shit. Let me see. Gino threw one behind him too. Yep, Alexander Fax. Yep, and then he threw one in a triple coverage on the boundary. It looked like there was a window of opportunity there, but Dante had to turn his whole body over in order to try and catch it, and it didn't happen. But there was 3 defenders over there. That was a tough catch to try and make. He said, "Clean your front-facing camera." Let me see what it was. Oh yeah. I'm over here, drinking and breathing and shit. So, you know. Once again, we'll be back home tomorrow, you guys, in the podcast space. We'll have the lights, we'll have all that good stuff. So we'll definitely be back professional tomorrow. My apologies, you guys, for the quality. You know, when I'm in Sacramento, I'm just trying to rip and run, and I can only go live and do my stuff whenever I can, you know. So I had to kind of work with what I had. So definitely want to get back to the quality when I get home. Once again, my apologies for not being 150%, you know, in terms of quality. So, you know, it's kind of rough trying to go live and put out content when you're traveling. I had my laptop with me and all that good stuff, but the Wi-Fi everywhere I was ass too. So he said, I thought it was just a smoky room. Nope, it was my camera, and Hug was right. He said, clean it up, and we were good to go. So Tim says, content. Salute to my guys. Get some questions in, man. We almost have 500 people in the room. Make sure you guys wipe them feet, man. Also, hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. Also, salute to my brother Wasted. Just got off the phone with him. We have a new intro for our show. We're building over there with the Graph and Wasted, or the Wasted and Graph show. So stay tuned. We will be returning this week. Stay tuned. We are back to moving and grooving. Raider Adrian says, thoughts on hiring Cliff Kingsbury? I don't know, man. They're having a rough stretch of football out there with the Commanders. You know, they lost today. They got blown out by the Dallas Cowboys. They lost some very winnable games this season. And Jaden Daniels looks like he hurt now. I believe he had like a leg injury today. So I just don't know what that's going to look like. You know what I mean? I don't know. If Cliff Kingsbury wanted to get a head coaching position, he should have did it right after last year, right after the NFC Championship appearance. I feel like the Commanders have been kind of figured out. And I know that, you know, they lost their starting running back. I know that Scary Terry hasn't been playing. I know the defense has been really bad. But all in all, you know, the offense hasn't looked great out there with the Commanders. So, but he's definitely, was it torn hamstring? Ooh, shit, Ron. Is that what it was? Oof, man. Just Raiders Baby says, Cliff won't come here without a QB or a quarterback plan. I agree with you, but once again, I think that we're probably going to have a top 5 pick in a deep quarterback class. So if you want to sell Cliff Kingsbury, a guy that is very close with Tom Brady, they're very good friends. They are very good friends. The selling point could be we have a top 5 pick and potentially have the pick of the litter at the quarterback position. Remember this, you guys. The Titans will probably be picking top 3. They already have their quarterback in Cam Ward. The Jets are a team that are going to be desperately looking for a quarterback. They're the one team that you have to worry about with Mendoza and company. But there's some other teams, you know, but Pittsburgh's going to be drafting later because they've been winning some ball games. Aaron Rodgers is on the way out. I don't know if Will Howard is going to be their future. But, you know, there's a few teams that are going to need a quarterback. But if we're drafting top 5, like I think we will be, and I think the Dolphins' group definitely will be as well. But you never know, man. They may give Quinn Ewers a shot. They like him. I know they got him in the 7th round. They gave him some reps today. They benched Tua finally. Tua's on the way out for sure. I wouldn't be shocked if he was gone pretty soon. So even though that contract is nasty, but the Dolphins are definitely a team to keep an eye on as well. But I know that they like Quinn Ewers. Anthony says the Saints, you know, maybe they want to see what Rattler has. Maybe they want to still develop Tyler Shuck. They just used the 2nd round pick on him. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints did it as well. For sure. I wouldn't be shocked. But there's probably 4 or 5 football teams that are going to be there in the top 5, top 7, top 10 that are going to need a quarterback. And we're definitely going to be one of them. Heat check, no. Tua is not. No. Hell no. Salute to my guy, Low Wage. Geno in Seattle must have been a fairy tale. Man, dog, you ain't never lied, bro. But once again, it just depends on who you talk to. When you talk to those fans in Seattle, some of them love him, some of them hate him. It was very Derek Carr-ish with Geno Smith in Seattle in terms of that fan base. It was very split down the middle. I always see people that said they couldn't stand him, and then I seen people that says, you know, we love him and keep him around. It was a very Derek Carr-ish situation. Like, definitely. So, Aiden Kingsley says, I'm a Chiefs fan, man. Salute to you, man. Y'all beat our ass today, man. Beat our ass. I think you guys have averaged like 32 points a game the last three games. We kept y'all to what? Was it 31? Progress. You guys were averaging 32 a game. We kept you at, we held you to 31. The problem was we didn't score a fucking point. Progress. We kept that high-powered offense lower than what they're accustomed to being. Even though they benched Patrick Mahomes, they benched all their starters, but you know, let us have a little something here. AFC West roundtable this week, Michael, is going to be terrible. The roundup's going to be nasty. Darcy's already in the group chat talking shit. Ben is already on some like we don't care how we got it done. We're at the top of the division. Yeah, so I'm gonna be on my own. And I'm just going to have to eat that loss. It's nasty work. So to my guy, John Bailey, man, is it just me or have we gotten progressively worse? Every coaching staff since trading Gruden to Tampa, seriously, 2 playoff appearances in 23 years. Yeah, man. It's not just you, it's everybody. We can all agree with you, brother. Definitely. We haven't won our division since 2002, I believe. We have been a very bad football team since that blowout in Tampa Bay. And the Tuck rule, the Tampa Bay game, it just, since then we haven't been the same. Outside of 2016, you know, in typical Raider fashion, DC breaks his leg and we're right back down to square one. Plugs, is Pete one and done? I believe so. And I just got done telling Wasted this on the phone. I believe it's going to be a situation where he steps down. I don't think that the Raiders want to tarnish his image, tarnish his legacy. I think that it's going to be a situation where just magically Pete Carroll is going to resign or step down. But it's really the Raiders saying, hey, we want to move on. I wouldn't be shocked, you guys, honestly, and this is real talk, if Pete gets fired or resigns this season and they give Graham the reins. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. If Pete says, you know what, I'm not the one for this job, you know, and the Raiders are like, well, you're definitely not. We want to move on from you too. And they give Graham the reins for the rest of the season. I wouldn't be upset about that. Have Rob Leonard take a little bit more over on the defensive side of the football. And then I don't know where you go with Chip Kelly in that offense. I don't know. So I'm not saying 88 that Graham is the answer, but I'm just saying that I know those players love him. You know, I know they love him. I know they respect him. I think that it would be like a situation where like when Gruden got fired, you know what I mean? And we brought in Richie B to come in and be that interim head coach and the players rallied around him. Now, I'm not saying that we would rally around and find a way into the playoffs by any means, but I think that we'd probably rattle off a few wins if Graham took over and they rallied around him. I just think that they love Patrick Graham, the players. They believe in him. Pete Carroll's a new guy. Chip Kelly's a new guy. They still haven't earned these players' trust. They haven't earned the right to, whatever. You know what I mean? But I think if anybody was the interim head coach, it would be Patrick Graham because of how long his tenure has been up to this point. And once again, he's working to be a head coach. He's already taken interviews. He's trying to be a head coach at some point and not only a defensive coordinator. So I think he would be the one to take over the reins, regardless of how much Chip Kelly's getting paid or not. Hold on, I'm going to give you one more beer here in a second. Bring over Brian Flores. I would love that, get to practice. I would absolutely love that. A phenomenal defensive mind, a disciplinarian, a no tolerance, no bullshit. I would love having Flores in the building, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. I think he was dealt a bad hand in Miami with the whole two-ish shit and all that. I would love to have Flores in the building. He's a great football mind. Bama Kami says, does Chip get fired? You're paying him too much money. I don't know what the guarantee looks like. I don't know. What does that contract look like, you guys? I don't have it on hand. I don't know how many years Chip Kelly's contract is, and I don't know what the guaranteed money looks like on that. But paying a guy $6 million, I don't think they're going to move on from him in 1 year. I don't. I truly don't. Regardless of how bad the offense is. Let me see. Heat checks and a super. My apologies, brother. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on? Heat checks his graph. Seriously, would you start AOC after the bye? He can't be worse than Geno, right? Well, the thing is this. Is Aiden ready? Okay. 2, let's not act as though he didn't look like Geno in preseason. He was throwing a ton of picks. He did not look like the Aiden O'Connell that we were used to seeing. And I'm not acting as though he was this high-powered quarterback and all-pro type talent. But he looked different in preseason. He was throwing some nasty, nasty picks. Remember, you guys, a couple months ago, we were having a conversation about Cam Miller potentially beating out Aiden O'Connell. So let's not act as though he wasn't struggling in preseason. Now, I just don't know if it wasn't a fit in Chip Kelly's system or, if he just doesn't have the talent, to get it done. I do not know. But I know this. If Geno is dying behind this O-line, Aiden O'Connell will die behind this O-line. Geno has more legs. He can move around a little bit more. And even when he tries to use his legs, he's getting murdered. Aiden would get destroyed. Zap, I'm not even telling you, bro. Just unsubscribe. I don't care about that goofy shit. Zap stupid. Motherfucker says, say what's up or I'm going to unsubscribe. What's down, motherfucker? Let me see. DP says, curious to know if you've been watching Ty Simpson graph. I haven't gotten a chance to watch every single game. I've gotten an opportunity to watch some. but I haven't gotten a chance to watch, every rep. I really haven't dove into my bag yet in terms of college football. This is the time, usually around the bye week, I really start to do my homework. But from what I've seen from him, I like that kid. I like that kid. I think that he's a monster. I think he's a beast. Isn't he a little undersized though? I believe that I was talking to somebody the other day about him, and they were worried about his size at the next level. Somebody, I know there's probably some Alabama fans in the building. Once again, I said I haven't done my complete homework on him, but a few people's gripe were that he was a little undersized, and they didn't know if that was going to translate to the next level. Heat Check says, is Colton out for the year for sure, or is it up in the air? Look, at this point, why would you rush Colton back out? Let me wipe this back off, you guys. I'm not putting Colton back out there. For what? There's no reason for it. Stone Forsythe sucks. But at this point, I mean, what are you fighting for? You're 3 games back in the division. You're probably the same for the last playoff spot in the AFC. This team is getting worse and not getting better. I don't see a reason to throw Colton Miller out there. You just extended him. I would rather have him sit, get healthy, get completely healthy, and let's get him back at left tackle next season. There's no reason to rush him back out there. Big Lobosco, it's good to see you, my brother. Salute to you, man. Hug says, Graf, you bought that hat and Raider image, didn't you? No. You guys would be happy. You would be proud of me. I walked into Raider image right over here, and I walked around. I picked up a few items, and I put all that shit back, and I walked out. I refuse. Raiders ain't getting none of my money right now. They don't deserve it. So, yeah. Nope. Crazy is, I didn't even bring any Raiders shit to Sacramento, you guys. I didn't, outside of my hat, I didn't bring any Raider clothes with me. None. I brought a bunch of fly shit. I didn't bring any Raider stuff. I left with some Raider stuff because my father-in-law always wants to drip me out, and get me right when I go home. But I didn't even bring any Raider stuff. Raider Luck says, Chip should try to use AOC like he used Will Howard. Yeah, I don't know, Lux. Aiden doesn't have. He just doesn't have it, bro. And I like Aiden O'Connell. I don't see it working. I don't see it happening. Let me see. Coach says, keep that money grab, definitely, bro. I'm not paying no money on any of this shit, bro. Grimes says, proud of you, Graf. You're on your way. Manuel says, I've been watching you for years. I appreciate you, Manuel. Thank you for your endless support, man. That means a lot to me, brother. Let me see. Chip's offense is trash. It's definitely been looking ass, young. This definitely looks, it's a far cry from what this team looked like offensively in week 1. That first drive in that second half, Geno stretching the field, finding Dante and, Brock, and, that looked like something we were on our way here. And it's gotten worse since week 1. And look at how the NFL is. You go beat New England in New England, and those guys are 5-2 now? They're beating the hell out of football teams. Drake May looks like an all-pro quarterback right now. New England is figuring it all out. A team that had the same record as us last year. And once again, we just cannot figure this shit out. It's nasty, bro. It's just nasty. Nasty. Low wage. AOC is inevitable, Graf. You will probably survive. Bro will probably survive this regime. Raiders herpes? Aiden O'Connell? Is he joining Brandon Parker and Greg Olsen? Salute to my guy. Salute to Heat Check once again on the $10 smackaroonie, man. Let me see. The problem is they lost trust in Geno to throw the long ball. Yes, but he gave them every reason to. And they don't trust the run game because of the O-line. This is facts. Bro, you have a guy in Ashton Jeanty that ran the football 6 times today. The game plan should have been, regardless, keep Mahomes off the football field. I could have lived with us dying a miserable death today if we ran Ashton Jeanty and he had under 100 yards rushing and we lost 20-0, or 17-0. If you run the football, I would have ran Jeanty 40 times today, bro. I would have ran his kneecaps to the motherfucking ground in Kansas City. The way that Patrick Mahomes has been playing outside of his body this season and then getting Rice back, who had 2 touchdowns today, I would have ran the football. Even if we couldn't get the ground game going, I would have just consistently continued to run the football. Period. I would have ran the foot. This would have been Genty. Remember how they used you at Boise State? We're going to do the exact same thing today. We are going to run you, run you, run you. Bare minimum, 30 snaps. Bare minimum, 30 reps. They should have ran the football. Once again, Kansas City was like ranked 20th, 21st, somewhere along those lines in running defense. Their run defense is not spectacular. Like we could have ran against these guys, even with our terrible O-line. But once again, they refused to run the football. It's nasty work. Salute to my guy S. Dot. Hey, Graf, it still remains hilarious to me how everybody wants to swap out every player except the offensive line first and then go from there. Never fails. Laugh out loud. S. Dot with a haymaker. My dog always pulling through, talking about the trenches. I respect it, and I definitely agree with you, my brother. Facts. Facts plus tax. And I definitely think that we're going to address the O-line this offseason, in the draft and in free agency. I need me another beer. Hold on real quick, y'all. Hold on real quick. Love, one more and you can cash me out, please. Thank you. My apologies again, you guys. I am at the Las Vegas airport right now. Thank you guys for y'all patience. Salute to the nation, man. Love you guys, man. Salute, salute, salute. We may not have wins. We may not have a functional organization, but we have each other. That's all I can say. Salute to my guy, Hafi. Thank you, sweetheart. Man, you know Pete can't stay around. Let me see. Man, you know Pete can't stay around. Ain't no way he's going to be around long enough to build a team from the ground up. This is facts. This is facts. Hold on real quick, y'all. Thank you, love.
You getting charged up?
Yeah. We knew that when we hired him that he wasn't going to be around for too much longer. Young Juan says, why was JPJ out? He struggled today. But once again, everybody struggled today. If you're going to bench JPJ, bench other players. There's definitely something personal against JPJ right now. Thank you. Let me cash out real quick, y'all. We really ghetto today. All right. Fucking airport. Get 2 beers for $34. It would be the airport. Nasty work. But if you're going to bench JPJ, you have to look around the rest of that group. You have to look at Dylan Parham. You have to look at, you can't bench him, right? Because you got Caleb Rogers inactive. You have McClendon Curtis on the practice squad. So honestly, who are you bringing in at that point? I don't really know where they would go with that. So, but Caillou Blue should have been out a long time ago. A long time ago. Let me catch up these supers real quick. He Check says, they definitely got something against JPJ. He gets subbed out when he can't contain Jones. Instead of helping him, they take him out nasty, but Geno doesn't get benched or Caillou. Exactly, bro. It's definitely personal. Definitely personal. Definitely personal, man. Yeah, Blue is not a good football player, and they know better than this. That's the problem with Pete. This is the problem, and I said this before, you guys, when you hire a head coach that's 74 years old, they're so stuck in their ways. This guy has won a national championship. He's won a Super Bowl. He thinks he knows it all. So if he thinks that Caillou Blue is going to be a fucking Pro Bowl player, he's not going to take him off the football field. It just sucks. It's just like, but it is what it is. Like, Pete's stuck in his ways. He's stuck in his ways. And it's going to get him canned. It's going to get him canned. But once again, I don't think that Pete gives a fuck. I honestly don't. I don't think that Pete cares. There's no pressure on him. He can take this money, walk off into the sunset, and retire. He doesn't need this shit. Honestly, his reputation and his legacy is sealed. It's signed, sealed, delivered. He doesn't really give a shit. Salute to rating. They're going to trade JPJ and Max going to want out. I don't think they're going to... Look, Pete may have an issue with JPJ, but I don't think that Spytek and company would allow them to move a guy. Well, Spytek has to be the one to make the decision anyway because he's the general manager. There's no way that you move a second-year guy that can be a potential Pro Bowl, potential All-Pro guy for you at center or the guard spot on a rookie deal. It makes no sense at all. If they move JPJ, you guys, I'm telling y'all now, this channel may change. This may be a fuck Spytek. Look, it's not going to be called OLV Raiders Network anymore. It'd probably be called fuck Spytek Network. Honestly, because that would be disrespectful. That would be disgusting. Nasty work. No more OLV Raiders Network. Fuck Spytek Network. Is what it is. And watch what's going to happen. Watch when they move on from Pete Carroll. Whoever comes in is going to move JPJ right back to the center position, and he's going to play at the highest level, and we're going to be like, holy shit, we missed a whole year of his development at the center position. Just watch. Watch when we bring in the next guy that puts him right back at his natural position and how great he plays, barring any injuries, barring any more concussions, stuff like that. Just watch. Just watch. Just watch. And then the nation is going to hate Pete Carroll even more because of it. Because of it. Just watch. It's gonna suck. We're gonna be like, wow, a whole year we missed of JPJ at the center position. And not only that, you put a guy at the center position that never played the center position over a guy who won the Remington Award. Make that shit make sense. It's nasty work, man. Nasty, nasty work, man. Disgusting. Disgusting. And while we're at it, talking about development, you guys, like, who are they developing right now? They're not developing Ashton Jeanty. He went from 23 reps last week to 6. Jack Bech not getting targeted. Let's just keep this. Let's keep the ball rolling here. Mayer wasn't that involved today. He was targeted a few times, but where's the development at? The linebacker position got to be the oldest linebacker group in football, outside of Eichenberg and Lindenberg, but they're not out there a ton. Let's just keep the ball rolling. We got some youth at the defensive tackle position, right? You got Booker out there, you got Jonah out there, Tyree out there, but once again, Tyree's not getting starter reps. Who are they developing right now? Like, honestly, who are they developing right now? I don't know. Dante's not getting the reps. Who else? Tucker? Is Tucker the one? Is Tucker the guy? Is Tucker the guy? Is Tucker the one getting development in year 3? I guess it's Trey Tucker. I guess we landed there. Nasty work, you guys. Nasty work. It's like post-Super Bowl Cowboy teams, Dave. Stupid. That's the coach's job to get Rodgers and Grant ready. And they're not out there. Like, what are you not, like, this is the thing that absolutely kills me, you guys. You have probably the worst O-line in football. Us and potentially the Texans. And there's probably a couple other teams out there that don't really have great O-lines. I understand that. But why not just tinker with it? Why don't you say, okay, this is not working. It's not working. Put Caleb Rodgers in there. Put Charles Grant. We've said this a million times over here at the channel. Put those guys out there and give them some opportunities to go out. Look, let them learn under fire. Let them learn under fire. That's what I loved about the old school, right? I don't know about you guys, but I remember the day I learned how to swim. My dad threw me in the water at 4 years old and said, if you don't swim out that shit, or I forgot how old I was, you bound to drizzle. And guess what I did? I swam the hell up and never was afraid to swim again. Simple and plain. Throw these guys out there and make them learn the hard way. Simple and plain. That is the only way that these guys are going to learn the NFL game. By giving them the reps and allowing them to go out there and make mistakes and allow them to learn the hard way. If Caleb Rodgers goes out there and Charles Grant goes out there and gives up 2 sacks a game, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Because guess what? That's what they're supposed to do. Trial by fire. I love that, Grim. This is facts. This is fact. Let them go out there and make mistakes. I mean, shit. Stone Forsythe is a what? How many years he's been in the league and he's getting Geno killed? I mean, Dylan Parham is a free agent next year, so he's on his going into his 5th year next year. He's getting Geno killed. Shit, if he's gonna get killed, let these young guys in on the action. Why not? Vince, they did it with Glaze. They did it with DJ Glaze, and at this point right now, DJ Glaze might be our best offensive lineman, not named JPJ. Honestly. Well, shit, he is, truthfully. Salute to Hug. These 2 weeks will tell us the rest of what we need to know. Major changes, or we are 2-15 with a top 3 pick and another kerosene fire in the building. Oh yeah, it's coming. Hug, it's coming. I'm telling you now, it's coming. I need people. I love that. I love ITK. I know what you're saying. You know, Antonio Pierce just called. Look, you guys, Antonio Pierce fucking sucked. Okay, look. He is not Pete Carroll. If Antonio Pierce was here this year, we probably would have never beat New England. We would have been a terrible football team. If AP was the head coach, Aiden O'Connell would have probably been the quarterback. And mind you, okay, cool, because Geno fucking sucks. But all I'm saying is this. Y'all got to stop with the bullshit, man. AP was absolutely terrible, okay? Absolutely terrible. He brought in all these great football minds and couldn't learn in year 1 from those guys. If you can't learn from the Marvin Lewises, the Joe Philbins and company, and then you're dependent on a Matt Shelton and get for game management who's absolutely terrible, like what are we talking about here? AP would have did nothing with this football team. It would have been worse with AP. So there's a reason we were the only team in football that wanted to hire that guy. He got one interview with who? The Atlanta Falcons? The Atlanta Falcons? And I wonder why he got that interview. There's this thing out there you guys call the Rooney Rule, right? Where, you know, I think you guys are very familiar with it, right? AP did not have any other job anywhere else. The Raiders' job was tailor-made for him the year that he was here. He proved he couldn't get it done, and he was on the way, and he got the can. He got canned, like he was supposed to. Simple and plain, man. This team would have been undisciplined. It'd have been worse. And it's crazy to think, because I don't know if you can get any worse than what this team is, but they probably would have been more worse under AP. So it is what it is. But I'm just tired of hearing the whole AP shit. Salute to Heat Check, my guy, man. Did you see Brady said that the team truly knows who they are by Thanksgiving week? I didn't see that. Where was that at? Where was that at? I did not see that. I didn't see that. But I definitely want to check it out. But once again, if you're, 2-7 by Thanksgiving week, you're done. You're done. And I seen what Geno said too. What did he say? Something when he was in Seattle and they were like 2-8 or some shit like that, and they made a run and, you know, blah blah blah. Man, look, this team has not shown any signs of being that team. Simple and plain. You got blew out by the Commanders with Marcus Mariota at the quarterback position and a bunch of backup running backs. You got blew out by a Chargers team that gave you every opportunity to win that game. They kept saying, "Here, take it, Raiders, take it," and Geno said no. It was literally hot potato. Geno was like, "Take it back, take it back, take it back," 3 times. So this team is not a good football team. It's not a good football team. Even the way they beat the Tennessee Titans was, like I said earlier on the show, it was not good enough for my liking. If they played a lot of these teams close, if all these losses look like the Bears game, I can live with that. I can live with that. I can live with some close L's with this roster. I can't live with 40-6. I can't live with 31-0. I can't live with the Chargers game. I can't live with the Commanders game for sure. So this is just a terrible football team. And we got to understand that. And I think the quicker that we understand that this isn't a good football team, the better we'll all sleep at night. Simple and plain. If we would have just did what I said a couple years ago, which was bring Jim Harbaugh in and hire him and give him like the Gruden special, I would have believed that we would have been a better football team instantly. But as years went by, I think we would have been like a perennial playoff type team. You know, the Chargers team is way better than the way they're playing right now. They lost to the Colts, but they got a ton of injuries right now, you know. They lost their left tackle, the right tackle. I know that I think Joe Alt was back at practice, and he may have played today. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I'm just saying, man, like there were better options out there. But once again, I don't know if Harbaugh chose the Chargers because of Herbert, but I know one thing is for certain that the Raiders didn't even offer him an interview. And I guarantee you, Harbaugh got his first opportunity in the NFL with the Raiders. He would have took that interview and he would have looked at that job a lot differently than Ben Johnson that's leaving Detroit, a great situation, and going to the Bears where they have a young quarterback in Caleb Williams. Like Harbaugh would have looked at it like as a personal thing I gotta right this ship out here with the Raiders. I have to fix this. I started here, I want to end it here. To me, it was a great storyline for Harbaugh to be the Raiders coach. But once again, if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. It is what it is. But, you know, are you ready for Coach Prime? Hell no, Mr. Raiders. No way in hell. No way in hell. No sirree, Bob. There's one job out there for Deion Sanders, and if he ever goes to the NFL, and it's going to be with the Dallas Cowboys. Because Jerry loves the hype, he loves the media, he loves all that. So I think that if he went anywhere, it would be the Dallas Cowboys. It will not be with our Raiders. Because trust and believe, those rumors came out that he was interested in the Raiders job, and so on and so forth, and the Raiders shot that shit down immediately. Like we're not interested. So, wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up, man. Get those likes up. 500 people in the building. We got 206 likes. Get those likes up. Raider Ross says, where do we go from here? You sell whatever pieces you can sell by the trade deadline. We got a few more weeks. I think it's November 4th, I believe, is the deadline, somewhere around there. You sell. You sell Jacoby. You move on and you try to sell a few of these other guys that you have out there on one-year deals. You're sellers. You're sellers now. You're not buyers. Move some of these guys. That's it. And honestly, if you can't sell, just get the youth movement rolling. Get the youth movement rolling. That's it. Get a lot of these young guys in. Start playing Caleb Rogers. Start playing Charles Grant. I want to see J.J. Pegues and Tonka Hemingway out there. I want to see Darian Porter be the starter opposite of Eric Stokes. You know, like, some people may not want to hear this, but, you know, the safety position, you're going to have to look at that spot and think, okay, should we make some changes here? You know, I know that Trey has not left Las Vegas yet. I've seen Trey Taylor out there working out with Amari Gaynor a ton. Another guy that we liked a lot, the linebacker Amari Gaynor, you know, out of Florida State and North Carolina. So maybe you say, hey, bring him in. You know, maybe you look at Chris Smith. I don't know, but I want to see some younger guys get some reps. That's honestly what I want to see. I want to see some young dudes get some reps out there. But it starts with Jacoby. You have to move Jacoby. You have to. You have to. Salute to my guy, S. Dot. Somebody tell me, how does Dylan Gabriel get away with the winning, being a check down Charlie, but Chip's play calling can't even do that? What the F? Well, Gabriel's won one game, S. Dot, and it came against the Miami Dolphins today. We got to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, my brother. Dylan has looked terrible up to this point. He went out there today, and he had a strong run game. Quinshon Judkins played phenomenal. Didn't Judkins have like 3 touchdowns for Cleveland? And he has a phenomenal defense. Gabriel has a phenomenal defense, a great defense, great shutdown corner, the greatest pass rusher in football, and Myles Garrett. You know, they have a really, really good linebacking core. So, look, they have pieces out there. You know what I mean? So, it's a little different. But he just won his first game today against the Miami Dolphins, who absolutely suck. So, you know, it is what it is. Angel says, I'm over this shit, Graf. What's the answers to us fixing this mess? Honestly, bro, I don't have the answers. I wish I did. But honestly, I don't know if we have any people in the building that would actually listen anyway. The problem with the Raiders these last however long years, we've had a lot of egos in the building. And mind you, football is an ego-driven sport. But John Gruden, the most biggest ego in the world, turning down Tom Brady and Gronk is absolutely bonkers. Then you bring in Josh McDaniels, Mr. Ego himself. Now you got Pete Carroll, who's stuck in his ways and in his own way. Like, that's what it is. Look, until you get somebody in the building actually that's willing to listen and see what the hell is going on, you know, like, The AP was the total opposite because he didn't have any coaching experience. So he was leaning on everybody else around him to get it done. So there was a bunch of other egos pulling him this way, pulling him this way, pulling him this way. And it was a shit show. But once again, he was initially the interim head coach, and then, we hired him for that 1 year or whatnot. But we've just had a bunch of ego-driven head coaches that don't want to listen to shit. And essentially, they're the GMs as well. Josh McDaniels brings in Ziegler, and John Gruden brings in an announcer and a draft specialist in Mayock. It's crazy. It's just foolishness. It makes no sense. Hecheck says, so is Jacoby not injured? Because they showed him doing warm-ups and his calf wrapped. No, he's definitely beat up a little bit. But, at this point in the season, everybody is beat up at this point. Everybody's beat up. They're holding him out. They don't want him to get, too beat up to the point where he's untradeable. Simple and plain. Some of these teams out there we talked about, the Giants, the Steelers, the Bills, some of these other teams, they're looking to add a receiver. And there's already been some calls to Las Vegas about his availability. So is he hurt? Yes. But at this point in the career, at this point in the season, who's not beat up? You know what I mean? There's a reason they held him out. Could he have went? Probably. But they chose to hold him out. He was questionable. He wasn't doubtful like Brock Bowers. He was questionable. They ran him out there a little bit, and chose to keep him out, which was the right decision to make because Jacoby would not have beaten the Chiefs. We were not a Jacoby Myers away from beating this Chiefs team. So it is. Yes, man, and RIP, man, to Doug Martin, 36 years old, Bay Area's own, former Raider, man. I love Doug Martin, Boise State legend. I hate to hear that. I don't know what happened with him, but man, 36 years old. He was so young, man. Love Doug Martin, man. Salute to Dougie, and prayers to his family. I hate to hear that, man. I hate it, dude. I hate it. Doug Martin was an absolute monster. I think a 2-time Pro Bowler. Man, I hate to hear it at such a young age, man. Rest in paradise to Doug Martin. Raiden says, do you see Brady taking over as head coach down the line? No. You don't move backwards. You don't move backwards at all. You don't move backwards. You don't go from a partial owner to a head coach. There's no way in hell. Not at all. Not at all. He's making real money. He's making buku money with Fox, I believe, and then his stake with the Raiders. You don't move backwards going from an owner to a head coach. It just doesn't happen. Salute to Christian, my guy, man, on the $2 special. Imagine Carr coming back to coach. No, hell no. Hell no. We got to kill the whole Derek Carr shit. All I want to see is DC retire a Raider and we can move on. That's it. So, we should coach the team for real. You ready? You stupid. Damien, I agree with you. I thought that Ed Dobbs was a perfect guy for the job. Perfect guy for the job. And look what he's doing out there with Indianapolis and those guys. They have a phenomenal team. They just beat the shit out the Chargers. I would have loved to have Ed Dobbs in the building. Ed Dobbs is a really great football mind as well. But I do believe in Spy Tech. I think we got to give him a little bit more time. Salute to Wade on the $5 as well. Appreciate you. Yo, Graf, it was good meeting you Saturday. I was the ref at Rudder. Oh, shit, Wade, I didn't know that was you. Salute, man. Hey, that was cool. That was cool. My nephew thought that was really dope. Salute to Wade, man. Very nice to meet you as well. I went to my nephew's game the other day, and my brother Wade, and there was another ref there as well, came up to me and said they watched the podcast, and we took some pictures and flicked it up. It was really dope, man. It was really dope. My nephew thought that was dope. So, hey, Wade, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you for the support, man, for real. Next time I come to SAC, bro, let's get a drink or something. Let me see. Get a couple more questions in you guys before I get out of here. I'm going to go hit my gate here in a minute, finish up my beer. Let me see. What about the third string quarterback? Give him a shot. Man, you got to give your second string guy a shot before you give your third string guy a shot. You know, Kenny Pickett looked terrible out there with his first rep, right? But he's the guy next in line. You can't just say, let's skip over a healthy Kenny Pickett to go to Cam Miller. It doesn't work that way. If they're going to move on from Geno, they're going to go to Kenny Pickett. They just used, a 5th round pick on him, I believe. And they're going to go to him. He's second in line. Let me see. Oscar, you go get picks. You get picks. You don't trade him for a player. We're not in a position to try and trade a wide receiver. And mind you, there's not going to be any really good teams fighting for playoff spots right now trying to trade any offensive line for a wide receiver. It doesn't make any sense. You get draft picks. You go draft your guys. If you're moving Jacoby, you go get you a draft pick. And you use that for whatever position you need to fill. Panty Raider said, my condolence. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. That was a rough Friday, man. It really was. It was tough going out there and seeing my sis, the funeral and stuff. But, man, it was good to come home and see family. I definitely needed it. Let me see. Should AOC start after the bye week? Fernando, we don't even know where he is in terms of health. We don't know where he is in the grand scheme of things. With when he's going to come back, a timetable, we truly don't know. I honestly believe that Kenny Pickett's the guy, and then I think Cam Miller is next in line after him. I don't know if Aiden will ever play another snap here with the Raiders, honestly. But the way Geno's playing, you just never really know. But yeah. Let me get out of here, guys. We just hit the hour mark. Salute to you guys, man. Love every single one of you guys. Tomorrow, live, Coffee and Convo. I'll be back at the house, back with the lights, back with the Raider backdrop. We'll be lit tomorrow. Other than that, man, honestly, this was a terrible loss, nasty loss. I expected it. I didn't expect to win this football game at all. So it is what it is. But we definitely got more to talk about. The good thing is we have a bye week. Try to get healthy. Looks like Max is good. Looks like Brock should be back for Jacksonville. But other than that, man, look, man, I'm just, once again, I said it and I'll say it again, you guys. I want to see the young players play moving forward. I just want to see them feed Ashton Jeanty. Even if the ground game is not rolling, I want to see them feed him regardless. I don't care how bad the O-line is. I don't care about any of that. Run Ashton Jeanty 25 plus every single game. Simple and plain. He's your best player on the offensive side of the ball, not named Brock Bowers. Geno is struggling to throw the football. Run the football. Run the football. Run the football. And they did not do that today. 6 carries is organizational malpractice. Somebody should be fired for Ashton Jeanty only carrying the football 6 times. It's absolutely disgusting. And we're going to talk a lot more about that tomorrow. Coffee and Convo. Love you guys. Let me get the hell out of here and go get to my gate. 1.